Mars Attacks. Jack Nicholson as the president. Yikes. Glenn Close as the first lady. Annette Bening. Pierce Brosnan. Danny DeVito. Martin Short. Sarah Jessica Parker. Michael J. Fox. Rod Steiger. Jim Brown. And Tom Jones.
I want the people to know they still have 2 out of 3 branches of the government working for them, and that ain't bad.
Mars Attacks.
Hello, welcome back to Almost Cult Classics, the podcast. My name is Joe Ramoni, and I'm joined by my friend and co-host Ryan Lancello.
Howdy, folks.
Where we're talking about Tim Burton's Mars Attacks. It's a movie that I didn't see all the way through until we geared it up for this podcast. Had you seen it prior?
Yeah, years ago. It was definitely something that was right up my alley. I remember seeing the trailers. I totally forgot it came out, I think, 5 months after Independence Day.
Yeah, it was a holiday release.
So I was 2 movies where I'm like, oh, great. And it just looked, the trailers, I was like, wow, this looks really cool. So I had seen it when I was younger. I was definitely like really, I wanted to. And I watched it again for this, obviously. Mm-hmm. And both times I was a little disappointed.
Yeah.
I like it, but
There's a lot of like good threads that start in the movie that just aren't really seen through. There's a lot of, like, in concept, a lot of it is really, really interesting, but they just don't really execute a lot of it.
That's going to be my main criticism.
Yeah.
That, and we'll get into it. We're going to go through Tim Burton's kind of filmography up until that point.
Yeah.
But, that was, like, my main thing.
My big fear going into it was that it was basically going to be 1941 with aliens. Which, for those of you who listen to our 1941 episode, that movie, it's kind of about World War II and a bunch of different peoples, how that affected them, and they kind of all tie together. So this, looking at, you see the ensemble cast, I thought it was going to be kind of like that. It's not, I would actually say it's more like Dr. Strangelove almost. And there's certainly a lot of scenes that are inspired by Dr. Strangelove.
It has that... 1941. Well, it almost has like that's the disaster movie element, where there's, like you said, a bunch of different strands story-wise, and they're all converging around one incident, which 1941 has that. It has the Doctor Strangelove thing. It has a bunch of shit that doesn't really congeal into a... I don't want to say... It's not incoherent. It's just insubstantial at a certain point.
No, and you know what's weird is that they're like the part with like the kid in Kansas, is that where their one storyline takes place?
Yeah,
I think it is Kansas. But like, that to me was interesting because like that's what I almost expected this movie to be, like small town dealing with invasion of Martians. But like then there are like characters introduced in the last 30 minutes that have their own kind of arc. Like it's not really like, no one really has an arc. No one really has like a purpose in the story. There's no kind of character, development. They just kind of...
It's this movie about an hour, 47 minutes, I think.
I think it's a little bit longer than that.
It could have used...
106 minutes. So, yeah, it's close to 2 hours.
It could have used more.
Well, apparently that was the thing. The original script was...
a lot got cut from the script.
Yeah.
I don't think... So they didn't film it.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like you were going to see, like, China, and you were going to see different countries dealing with it, which for me, it was like... I don't know. There are some of the, plots in this movie, the subplots that I just thought were wastes of screen time that went nowhere, did nothing for me.
Well, we'll get to it, but like DeVito.
By the way, 4th build in the movie.
It's bizarre.
And he has less than probably 2 minutes of screen time.
Easily.
Yeah. And
easily.
I thought for the longest time his first scene's going to be it. Because it's pretty funny. Him in the casino.
Yeah.
But then like... I don't know. He gets an arc, and then we'll get to that whole...
It's very strange.
But yeah, you looking at the director choice, Tim Burton, who we'll talk about, like he obviously has a love for this type of a movie that might have hurt in the long run. Like his adoration for this genre might have hurt this movie almost. But yeah, as with other movies we've done... we went through... you usually watch the filmography of the director leading up to the movie we're talking about.
That's what I've been trying to do, yeah.
I hop in when I can with a couple. For this one, I watched them all. Because it's... How many movies is it?
6.
So, what are the movies?
So you got Pee-wee's Big Adventures, his first feature in 1985. Then in 88, you have Beetlejuice. A year later in 89, you have Batman. 1990 is Edward Scissorhands. 92 is Batman Returns. 1994 is Ed Wood, and then Mars Attacks in 96.
And we'll get to it, but how do you hit the nail on the head so well with Ed Wood and then follow that up with this? Like, how do you pay tribute to this genre with a love letter like Ed Wood and then just miss the mark, kind of?
I think basically with Ed Wood, he made an, for lack of a better term, real movie. And then with Mars Attacks, he tried to make like a tongue-in-cheek Ed Wood movie. And there's parts of it that that work, and others where it's out of place. Like, you can't set out to make The Room, that Tommy Wiseau movie.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, these cult classics that are obviously bad movies that people, for whatever reason, gravitate towards and find things to like about them or enjoy. You can't set out to make that. There's no ironic bad movie.
Right.
They will be bad.
Yeah.
They're not fun. They're not funny. They're almost mean in a way.
Well, that's why
you have to be sincere. Ed Wood was sincere about the garbage he was making.
Right.
That's why that comes through.
Yeah, that story.
It's not someone winking at you the whole time. Like, isn't it funny how you can see the boom mic and it's shitty? With the exception of, I'll say, maybe Black Dynamite, which is probably the last good comedy of the past.
Yeah,
20
there are
years.
ones that do it right. I think the problem with Mars Attacks is that
It's more of a parody too, by the way. So it gets away with that.
the aliens come off as like really fun and goofy, but then when you have human characters that are also goofy, it just, like, I would have rather the human characters played it straight, like you see in those old B movies, and then have the aliens who are just this ridiculous, goofy race of.
That's a good point. They were all like real stiff and serious.
Yeah, I mean, it
awesome.
should have been like Airplane with aliens almost. Like, I mean, have the human characters play it completely straight, and then have the aliens be the real, because the aliens are silly, and a lot of the good stuff in the movie works.
That's
Okay.
Bone of contention with me and you.
But speaking of bone of contention,
yeah, great way to.
Pee-wee's Big Adventure, which we began this Tim Burton quest a month ago. We started watching these movies, and you and I.
By the way, we've obviously taken way too long a break between episodes. I just finished the worst move of my life. It took forever, super stressful, but I'm nice and settled now. So hopefully we can get these out a little quicker. Quick spoiler, we're going to do Memoirs of a Visible Man next, John Carpenter's. But anyway, like a month ago we started with that.
And we conferred briefly on it, and then we were like, oh,
just a little bit.
Let's stop. Let's wait.
I sent you a one-line text message. It was, Pee-wee's Big Adventure sucks ass. And if I was building, I think we're on, episode 13?
I believe.
I think I'm starting, our listeners have probably started to warm up with me a little. So it's a good time to alienate them again and ruin any nostalgia they had. Pee-wee's Big Adventure was a piece of shit. It sucks. I hate that movie. I don't hate it, but I hate it. Like, it's not good. Counterpoint.
So you sent that text to me, and Pee-wee's Big Adventure is a movie I grew up with that I've always loved. I have a signed Pee-wee's Big Adventure poster.
Dude, I thought I loved it too. Real quick aside, I think I was 10 or 11. I had I had like a communion suit from when I was like in second grade. It was like a Pee-wee colored suit, and I had outgrown it. And I was a big do-it-yourself Halloween costume guy. So I was like, oh, this, hair gel, red bow tie, Pee-wee. And I was Pee-wee for Halloween, and it was a great costume. Everyone loved it. So like I said, I'm 10 or 11. I'm going around the neighborhood. Adults used to sit outside, have beers, hand out candy or whatever in my low-rent neighborhood. But I just remember I kind of knew something had happened to Paul Reubens, but I didn't know what. And I just remember... I'm walking away from one house and some guy goes, "Hey, Pee-wee, see any good movies lately?" I was just like, what is he talking about? Everyone laughed. I'm like, I don't get it, but you guys can look into Paul Reubens' arrest record if you're...
Yeah, and that was probably still like very fresh in everyone's mind. Like at this point, I think it's kind of...
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
They should have cared then. A lot of people came to his defense, by the way, as they should have. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Like,
it's not like he went to the movie theater dressed as Pee-wee either. Like, he had the Fu Manchu. Like,
yeah, he looked like a guy you'd find.
Exactly. he did it right. In fact, he grew that just to do that. That was the whole theory behind it.
Maybe on after this episode when we do sidetracks for our Patreon channel, found at...
patreon.com/almostcultclassics.
We've been doing movie theater memories. Maybe I'll do my story of the...
Yeah, that'd be a good segue into that.
The last one of the last adult theaters in the country, the Forum Theater in Philadelphia. When I went in.
Well, so Yeah, so you sent that text to me, and I said, all right, I'm going to watch Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I haven't seen it in a few years, but if you listen to this podcast, I do it a lot where I talk about a movie I grew up with that I revisit and I don't like, and it's always disappointing when that happens, and I thought that might be the case with Pee-wee. I loved it. I had such a great time rewatching Pee-wee's Big Adventure. It's not a perfect movie, but it's so silly, and it's so... I love that it's just like... It encompasses like the hero's journey, like beat for beat by like the minute it's supposed to happen. Like you can tell when they wrote that script, they were just like...
Well, I was going to say that, which this I had no idea about. So Paul Rubens writes it with Michael Vorhall and Phil Hartman.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, I had no idea.
Yeah,
about
Phil
that.
Hartman was
but
integral, I believe, to Pee-wee's development because he's on Pee-wee's Playhouse,
he was
obviously.
Captain Carl.
Captain
I
Carl.
believe, yeah. And that's where I'm thinking, like, did I like the show? Like, what did I like? As a kid, I probably did like this movie. But as a man in his 30s, it was so grating. It was so annoying to watch a grown man prance around. He does, after every line.
I had so much fun watching
every line. And I'm going to read some of the Siskel review here.
Yeah, please.
Siskel, what a fucking miserable guy. And, like, I know people hate when we bring those two up, but... Siskel and Ebert, but there's no getting around it. They're the most popular film critics of their time.
Yeah.
And I think, what did you say earlier? It's almost just kind of like a time capsule.
Yeah, it's a great window into the critical reception at the time.
Because if you've listened to the podcast, you know I'm no fan of critics.
Yeah.
Anywhere when we do these movies, when we started the show, I would read the consensus.
Yeah.
I absolutely don't even bother anymore.
Of course.
It's pointless.
Yeah.
But maybe I'll read a little bit of this. We'll see. It's a little hyperbolic and long. But anyway, none of them had written a screenplay. Like a feature length.
Right.
So they bought Sid Field's classic book screenplay, which if you've ever written a screenplay, it's kind of a page is supposed to equal a minute. So they did 90 pages. The movie's 90 minutes.
I mean, and when you
feels
watch
like
it, when you watch it
feels
though,
like-
like each of those story beats, like it happens on when you're supposed to happen. Like it's very, and that's why I respect it because of that.
I guess I could give them credit for that. I was like, it's really his character, really. I was surprised.
Okay.
And I love, Paul Rubens is awesome. He's a great performer. I like the idea of Pee-wee. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I liked the show a lot.
Yeah.
But, man, I was just like, this is intolerable.
And look, I dislike Big Top Pee-wee. I think that movie is
I never saw it.
far more grating. I think that, and we'll talk about as we go through these Tim Burton movies, like the one of the best parts of his movies is the casting. And
look, the cast is good. Even as annoying as he was as Pee-wee, it's a good performance.
Well,
I know that sounds contradictory.
But that's like the fact that Pee-wee's Big Adventure works for me is because it constantly surrounds him with kind of like either a straight man or a goofy. Like he's constantly with someone else in this movie a lot of the time. And like, dude, that scene where Andy, when he's the guy's chasing them around the dinosaur, Simone's boyfriend,
yeah.
and I will say that scene in the biker bar. It was
Which, even that, I'm like,
so fun.
But I'm like, why is he doing this dance?
I say we let him go. It's just
There's funny moments. I'll tell you what. There's obviously
the Francis shit. It's
okay.
you're allowed not to like the movie.
The
it's
two
just
lines that got a big laugh out of me. Both happened in Texas. I think the one's very classic, where he's on the phone
the
with
stars at night.
Are big and bright.
Yeah, and everyone claps.
Everyone claps. Very funny. The other one is right after that bullfighting thing with Andy. I guess that comes a little later, maybe. He gets knocked out. And they're like, hey, son, like, what's your name? He's like, I don't remember. I can't really do the voice.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, what's the last thing you do remember? And he's like, I remember the Alamo. And they all just start cheering. Like,
Yeah.
I fucking pissed my pants.
We've talked on
that was very funny.
sidetracks about San Antonio, by the way, and that Pee-wee's Big Adventure
I might move to Texas.
set the tone for how I thought it would be. And you've been to the Alamo.
Yeah.
It's like it's in the middle of like like shopping center, and like this movie makes it look like it's like on a field like somewhere.
Well, to be fair, the movie was filmed in '85. I think there was a lot of development since then.
In fairness, though, they never show it from like the facing. You know what I mean? It's always projected.
You can kind of tell it's in a city center, and it's very small.
By the way, that might be my favorite scene in the movie with Jan Hooks as
Jan Hooks is great.
The tour guide.
I want to say real quick, when Jan Hooks and Phil Hartman were on SNL, everyone kind of has their favorite era. That was like my favorite
great era, yeah.
That's like the era for me.
But that fucking scene when she's, and I read that wasn't scripted. She just kind of did it. And when she's like, "Can you all say that Dobie. And like there's that guy behind Pee-wee with the cowboy hat on that's like so enthused about being there. And I don't know. I know it's not a perfect movie.
This is where I'll start. Here's another thing I want to double back real quick because ostensibly we're talking more about Tim Burton this episode. But this is like I like when me and you disagree. It's like gives more
Yeah, we have more to talk about.
But Tim Burton, and I think this is like I'm going to call it maybe Simpson syndrome, where The Simpsons most people agree had basically 10 nearly perfect seasons. Right? Show's been on almost 30 years now, I think. So they have now made...
Homer's like younger than us at this point, technically.
Yeah, he lived through the 90s, I think, 5 times now at this point or something. But they have more bad seasons than good seasons. And when you watch these movies up until Mars Attacks, and including Mars Attacks, and maybe even Sleepy Hollow, I kind of remember enjoying that. That comes after Mars Attacks. But we're not really going to talk about that.
I did a couple after, which I'll bring up.
Okay. Did you watch Big Eyes?
No.
I wanted to
That's
because
the one I wanted to hit.
Yeah, but
Larry and Scott.
Maybe another time we'll talk about that. A little sidetracks or something. Anyway, he got such a bad reputation, basically, I'd say after Sleepy Hollow, and he hasn't really made good movies. He's a guy that I think really fell victim to the CGI curse. He drank the Kool-Aid.
I think Planet of the Apes did him worse than Sleepy Hollow did.
No. That's what I'm saying. After Sleepy Hollow, that's when he really like.
Oh yeah, Planet of the Apes like being like that big studio back.
His shit nosedives after that, and so people have gained this reputation of he's kind of a hack. He kind of does his little things and blah, blah, blah.
Well, the goofy Johnny Depp performances, I don't think, have aided him in that extent. And Johnny Depp is phenomenal in some of these movies, but there's a couple where it's like...
baffling to me.
He became like the Hot Topic poster child.
But I think Tim Burton, I hate to be he kind of lost it because these first 7 movies, he's a very good director.
Yeah.
Like, I was watching some of these and I was like, whoa. Like,
visually,
I forgot. I'm like, this man is a very, very confident... a great, you know what it made me think of? He's a very good visualist in the sense of like someone like to be more contemporary, Guillermo del Toro, where they come up with these great ideas and these great concepts, and they do not execute them well. Guillermo del Toro's movies, I'm not a big fan of.
I'm not either. But
I'm just not.
I admire his
got a great
style.
Got a great film brain. Got a great style.
He appreciates the
He's
craft.
the same kind of guy though, like a horror-ish guy. They do their little sketches.
Yeah.
But they don't really get across the finish line. Whereas, like I said, I don't know what... I think it's CGI when I look at Tim Burton because I'm like, you had it. You had it. We'll get to Ed Wood at a certain point. Dude, Ed Wood.
I've been waiting to talk to you about Ed Wood because that's one of my favorites.
We'll get to it. So I don't want to shit on Pee-wee too much more. I was shocked at how little I liked it.
But a lot of...
I'll say this, too, not to cut you off. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
The ending got a chuckle out of me, too. Even though it was stupid and easy... who was it? It's fucking Robert... Was it Robert Goulet?
No, Brolin.
Oh, James Brolin and Morgan Fairchild as Pee-wee and Dottie.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. But it's a very slight movie. There's really nothing there. I just didn't...
that would be why I appreciate it. I don't think...
It's fine.
It's just a movie you can watch, have a couple drinks. It's not something that...
Once again, I could not believe. I was like 20 minutes into this movie, and I'm like, oh my god, do I hate this?
You should check out the Netflix Pee-wee movie. It's like
I'm not going to, but
it's got weird like Valley of the Dolls vibes. Or
well,
like
I mean, we were just talking about that before this with Ebert, because he wrote Beyond the Valley of the Dolls. But well, that's the other thing too. I've heard he was always more of an adult character in a way.
I like the tongue-in-cheek like Pee-wee. I like the you ever see that HBO special, the Pee-wee Herman? Right before he kind of took off, he did an HBO special, and it's basically
that's
Playhouse on stage.
Right,
and it's like it's phenomenal because it's like tongue-in-cheek and kind of risque. And
look, here's the thing, to double back to my personal life, I was gearing up for a move. Maybe I was stressed. Maybe I was. Sometimes you don't have...
It's not a perfect movie.
But what I'm saying is sometimes you're not in the right mindset to watch every movie. Like, there's movies I've watched where I'm like...
Me watching A Serious Man during a tough breakup that you were like, go watch this Coen Brothers movie that made me hate my life even more.
It's like... And then, like... But how many... There's countless examples of that where you'll catch a movie again, you'll be like...
Yeah.
Well, what the fuck was going through my mind at that time?
I agree. So that could be you and Pee-wee, but... Can you... I want you to read that brief
Oh, okay.
from the
all right.
Siskel review, because it is funny, that 3 I told you to read.
All right. For the this is Gene Siskel in the Chicago Tribune, I guess in August 12th, 1985. For the uninitiated, Pee Wee Herman is a juvenile character who acts like a 10-year-old from the 1950s. Rubens probably thinks of himself as one part Pinky Lee, one part Jerry Lewis, and one part Jacques Tati. But he's flattering himself widely, at least as far as this film is concerned. And believe it or not, this negative criticism is being written by a Pee Wee Herman fan who has enjoyed his 10-minute guest spots on the Late Night with David Letterman show. Obviously, Pee Wee is tolerable only in Pee Wee doses.
1985, Tim Burton's first movie.
Yeah.
It's important to note that he does recruit Danny Elfman for that, and it becomes Danny Elfman's first gig as a composer.
And he kind of didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, man.
The soundtrack's great.
For someone who didn't, not only that, all the movies he does, Danny Elfman became an amazing scorer of film and TV. I mean,
and there's a couple of these movies where the soundtrack is like so essential to the mood and the tone of the film. I think they fell out for Ed Wood. There was something that I read where like the two of them weren't on the same page.
Something like that.
But they come back from Mars Attacks, and one of the best things of Mars Attacks is that like 1950s soundtrack type.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know how he was doing it for these movies. Like they're like, you hear it and you're like, holy shit! Like, because I haven't seen Batman since who knows when, and I'm like,
you get chills.
Oh my god, it's the Batman thing! Like I knew it immediately.
Yeah.
So pretty cool.
But yeah, after Pee Wee's Big Adventure,
1988.
88 is Beetlejuice. Yeah.
What a step up.
Yeah, I mean, and it's
Wow.
so much more his style, and it's again casting. Like he has this great like sense of who to cast, and like Glenn Shaddix, Catherine O'Hara, Jeffrey Jones, and Michael Keaton. I think that's the one thing about Beetlejuice that I always like put me off as a kid was that Beetlejuice wasn't really in the movie,
Which I totally forgot.
yeah.
Here's a movie too. This is a movie I know I watched a lot as a kid. I
We all did, yeah.
I loved it, and I remember watching, and I remember nothing from it. I remember watching that cartoon a lot.
Beetlejuice cartoon.
Which I don't know, what the fuck was that about? But I remember watching it because I loved the movie so much.
It's about him and what's her name?
Lydia.
Yeah, going off to adventures together.
Dealing with the sandworms and stuff. Like
Yeah, and
Beetlejuice is 100% classic, really good. I was like, thank God this holds up.
yeah, I mean, again, casting, like even I forgot about the Dick Cavett part. Like, there's so many like fun.
Robert Goulet.
Yeah,
That's where Robert Goulet comes in.
We talk a lot about Jeffrey Jones because he's had another actor that's had some troubled history that. But he's someone that he pops up in these movies. I mean, Ferris Bueller, this.
I'll tell you what, I mean, I'm always trying to get you to watch it. I just recently rewatched all 3 seasons of one of my top 3 favorite shows.
Oh, Deadwood, yeah.
He's one of the best characters in the show, and they did the movie. I finally watched the movie.
And he's in that, right?
Which I loved. They brought him back.
Yeah.
And I was a little surprised. I was like, oh, they brought back Jeffrey Jones. I don't know the full story.
I don't know either. You can't really find it online. You can just read like what the press put out.
Was he convicted of anything?
He had a register.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you kind of have committed a crime?
There's something weird there. I mean, it's not like full on. I don't know. I don't want to discuss the politics of child.
We're not either without condoning or condemning.
Yes.
We're just saying the guy's a fucking good actor.
He's a great actor.
Look, Roman Polanski, we know what he did.
Yeah.
Great filmmaker.
Of course.
I don't, I'm not saying he's a good guy.
Can't wait to talk about Jack Nicholson a little bit later, but
Yeah. Oh, well. I don't want to get in trouble.
yeah,
there.
Beetlejuice is great because it's like every cast member is perfectly cast. Even Alec Baldwin, who's like likable, like it's
who apparently hated his role in that movie.
that doesn't surprise me.
No, he said he didn't like how he did it or something. He's great. I've said this before. He's a piece of fucking shit.
I think
but
Michael Keaton, rightfully so, steals the show.
Who's in it for
What,
15 minutes?
20 minutes or so, yeah.
Brilliant.
But every
Brilliant
scene
to
is
do
brilliant.
that, though.
Yeah.
And you know what really struck me about Beetlejuice, and I think this is a bit of the current climate, or at least the past 20 years of our stuck culture where nothing new gets made, is that I looked at Beetlejuice and I'm like, okay, well, what's this based on?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. It's a guy named Michael McDowell comes up with a story.
Yeah.
And it's apparently way darker than what you see. Beetlejuice was supposed to be some like Middle Eastern like winged demon, like a Pazuzu type or something. And then this other guy, Warren Scarron, comes in and makes it a little lighter. He added probably my favorite part of the movie is the bureaucracy of the afterlife.
Oh, it's great.
And the fact that they kind of say it, but they kind of don't. Whereas in a lot of religions, especially in the Christian religion, especially in the Catholic faith, if you kill yourself, you go to hell, right? Mm-hmm. So in this one, if you kill yourself, you become a civil servant for all eternity, which is hellish. Like,
yeah, it's
fucking
great.
Amazing. Like, which also implies that Beetlejuice kind of killed himself at some point, which the movie dances around that.
Yeah.
But the fact that it wasn't based on anything, I was just like, holy shit. Like, it's weird to think that, like, oh my God, people used to come up with original fucking ideas.
This is a real quick aside, but it also deals with the bureaucracy of death. You ever see Defending Your Life?
I saw you tweet that the other day. I was going to either suggest that for...
dude, yeah, let's do it.
No. Well, we could do it for the show. I was going to say...
I would love to do his movies,
for
too.
Your,
Albert Brooks.
For your video.
Both phenomenal.
For Hats Off, maybe, I was going to say. But I would love to do Albert Brooks.
Love that.
Defending Your Life is a really
good movie.
Really good movie.
Yeah.
Man.
As is Beetlejuice. It's a lot of fun. I walked around for a week singing Shake, 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 Senora. It's the soundtrack.
I almost thought the Harry Belafonte songs were maybe played out. And then, like you said, I watched the movie and I'm like, wow, they actually fit perfectly in the movie. They have a spooky element in a weird way. And funny enough, you know who Tim Burton won it for Beetlejuice initially?
Who's that?
Sammy Davis Jr.
I could say that.
Hey, babe. Say my name 3 times.
Yeah, and that I really we'll talk more about Keaton casting in the next film, but
yeah, and one thing I want to touch on, man, it's like, and this is what I was going to say about where he gets fucked up with CGI later. CGI gave these guys way too much freedom. Restriction is good sometimes.
Yeah.
You need parameters. So this movie had $1 million effects budget.
Yeah.
And it made them do what Tim Burton likes, is make it more B-movie-esque.
Of course.
And it really, really
worked. I heard a really great quote. A lot of, I think, listeners also listen to Gilbert Gottfried's podcast because I've seen some comments come in.
If you don't, I'm not a big podcast guy. Joe's played me a few episodes. It's tremendous.
It's great.
It's really, really good.
I heard great B-movie fan Dana Gould was on the show, and he said a quote, and it's not attributed to him, someone else said it, or maybe Gilbert said it. I don't know who came up with it, but it was, stop motion looks fake and feels real, but CGI looks real but feels fake.
100%.
And it's
it was me. I said that.
Oh, yeah.
He was quoting me.
They were quoting almost cult classics, the podcast.
No, but I mean, you couldn't. It's totally accurate.
For sure. And Beetlejuice, falls into that. And then, following...
Well, one, I want to give a real quick shout-out because she pops up with the line of the movie in Mars Attacks. But Sylvia Sidney as Juno, she's kind of the afterlife guide for the Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin characters. She's great in this. Really funny, like when she's dealing with the football team that dies in the plane crash, and they're calling her coach. It's fucking great. She's awesome.
And she was like a great, classic Hollywood actress, too.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But she almost becomes the hero of Mars Attacks very inadvertently, and I just wanted to point her out because that's one thing I'll give Tim Burton credit for. Like you were saying, he knows the right actors to pick. Because Sammy Davis might have been good as Beetlejuice. Who knows? But he knows how to let them do what they want, and the guy is a goddamn good director of images. Anywho,
are we ready to go on to the next one?
1989's Batman. Whereas, okay, so I don't know the reputation this movie has currently. Hopefully, if I haven't alienated you with my take on Pee-wee, let me do it again. This movie sucks ass,
dude. I love this movie.
This movie is so fucking boring.
Oh, get the fuck out of here. I'm okay to accept Pee-wee.
This movie is so dull.
I watched this movie a couple nights ago, and I haven't seen it in a long time.
So did I. I'm like, this movie sucks.
I was blown away by how good it was.
Well, I'll redeem myself in a couple films here.
Yeah.
But, my God. And plus, we get to switch places here in a second.
Yeah.
But, dude. Let me quote. I wrote the quote down. Ready? This is Tim Burton, the director of Batman. I should do his voice. I liked parts of it.
Is that his voice?
It's a little nasally. I liked parts of it, but the whole movie is mainly boring to me. It's okay, but it was more of a cultural phenomenon than a great movie. It's boring, dude. It's a boring movie. Does it look great? Yes. Is Jack Nicholson a lot of fun? Yes. Is Michael Keaton good? Obviously. It's Michael Keaton. And not only that, I'll give I'm gonna tip the hat again to Tim Burton. They wanted a bulky guy. They wanted a big muscular guy. And Tim
Yeah.
Burton he goes, no, he puts on the suit to become Batman.
Yeah.
He's just...
I will say that's one thing that doesn't work for me in the movie is the design of the Batman costume. It just like I know it's like iconic at this point, but that bulky headpiece, like you can't turn your neck, it just does look
the
a little
wings look
silly.
stupid. It's bad.
I will say this, and this may be something you and I can agree on. I have become so tired of the representation of the Joker that's like this dark, like supposed to be representation of how society is messed up. Like Jack Nicholson's like maniacal, just pure insane character is 100% more compelling than any other iteration. I'm sorry. Like,
I agree.
And watching it like a couple nights ago,
and to be fair, it's basically the same motivation as burn everything down.
Yeah.
But it's funner.
He's having fun. Like that scene where he's in the art museum knocking the shit over,
It's
dancing.
funny.
Like he
By the way,
encompasses
the Prince songs in the film.
the Prince songs.
Which Tim Burton was also like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Like,
that's a studio thing.
well, we can talk about that, but please go on about your...
No, but like Nicholson he captures that just pure anarchy and just having fun and like being a clown. Like I think Joker has its problems. I don't think it's a perfect movie.
Oh, the new one?
The new one. I know you don't like it.
Can I say, please, audience, that movie sucks. It's a bad movie. Another movie that is just like, I'm like, what are you people seeing here? Go watch Taxi Driver. Go watch King of Comedy. You've now seen the best parts.
King of Comedy is so much better.
Dude, they're literally this. They ripped those movies off like whole cloth.
Of course.
Joker sucks. And not only that, he's another one of these characters who's like, I'm something wrong with me. My pills,
was saying.
Please.
That's not, if you like have followed any of the history of the stories, that's not who he is at the core. He's the clown prince of crime. He's a fucking maniac that has fun with his thing. Like there's no real reason. And Jack Nicholson, I'm sorry, he captures that so goddamn well. That sequence when he like hijacks the TVs and does the commercial.
Love it.
It's
That was good.
Exactly what I want the character to be. Like the Mark Hamill Joker, same thing. Like just that pure like comedic take on the character. He's having fun, and Nicholson, to his credit, is having fun.
Yeah, you can tell.
And Michael Keaton,
comes through.
That scene where he's at Vicky Vale's apartment and the Joker shows up, and they have their Michael Keaton, when he's trying to tell her he's Batman, like having that anxiety, like he really did do a great Bruce Wayne.
So that's one thing that the two Batmans made me realize. Literally, you could play Batman. This is how you play it. I'm the Bat. That's it. The way that comes through is how you play Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
And I think Christian Bale, obviously, that's one of the reasons those movies succeeded so well. Obviously, they were pretty good. Mm-hmm. Christopher Nolan did a fairly good job, with exception of that third mess of a movie.
I like the third
with
one.
Bane. It's a total mess of a film.
I think he got a raw deal because Ledger died. We can get into that.
Regardless, the Bruce Wayne character was compelling.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton plays a excellent Bruce Wayne.
Excellent,
The Bat is secondary, in my opinion, because what's Batman going to do? He's going to come in, he's going to beat the criminal up, fly away. That's kind of his point,
Well,
though.
see, that's
but
why
he's supposed to be in and out.
I like this movie because it deals with the politics of Gotham. I like the reporter angle. I like the Jack Palance.
I thought that was very surface. That's why I thought I always want more of that, and that's why when we get to Batman Returns, you might be interested in what I have to say, but we're not there yet. We can keep.
No, we'll get there. I really did enjoy this movie a lot. If only because it's like. It's fun. It's a fun movie. And Gotham in it feels timeless. Gotham looks great. It feels like you don't know when it's supposed to be.
I like that.
And,
I always like movies out of time.
Dude, that fucking... I swear to God, the chills I got, that last scene when the bat signal goes up, the Elfman score starts to swell, and then it's... I'm sorry. I thought it was a great movie.
Yeah, I was thrilled I could turn it off.
We had the same reaction at the end.
But to me, here's the thing. It's a big... And I don't know if it's because I know, but this gets into our Dick Tracy show where we talked about how they went the marketing route. They almost thought like we have to do what Batman did. This movie was so... I don't want to use saturate the market. They saturated the planet with Batman promos and stuff. I think either before the movie even came out or when it did, the number I have here is $750 in merchandise sold. That's not tickets.
750 million?
In merchandise.
Okay. Yeah.
So, I mean, like, this shit was everywhere. It was huge.
Nicholson got a fucking fantastic deal on it. I know that because he still gets a cut of the merchandise.
Well, he got top billing, too. He wanted that.
He gets billing over Keaton.
But I think it was at some Comic-Con. They put a slapdash trailer together. Apparently, it was getting standing ovations. People were bootlegging it before the movie came out and shit. Like, it was a cultural phenomenon.
Yeah.
Tim Burton was right. It's a boring movie. I can totally understand why you'd like it and what you would like about it. I thought it was pretty dull. And here's the other thing too. I don't really like superhero movies. I'm not a big fan. So there was that bias, but we will turn that around in a moment.
But this is also like at the forefront of that. So a lot of what is out today in terms of superhero movies, we can.
It's very true. You're totally right.
And we'll come back to this because we're going to talk about the sequel. But do you want to move on to the next?
Yeah, it was. Let me see here. It was 1990. Edward Scissorhands. Now, so I'll take a little bit of a lead on this one. I haven't seen it. I had seen it years and years ago, and I was just always like, yeah, pretty good. I think you're not going to be surprised by this. 100% up my alley. Love this movie, and not so much. The Edward character was really good. It's everything around him. It's exactly what you said about Gotham. It exists in that it's out of time. It's a time that never really existed. It's a false Americana that it's life from a Sears catalog. And it's that suburbia where everyone's got their painted houses and all the husbands come home at the same time and they all leave for work in the morning at the same time. And the
I thought this movie was boring.
Love this movie, dude.
No, I didn't think it was boring. It's not for me. It's not a movie that I fully understand. I'm willing to admit that.
What are you not understanding about
I think it's a visually brilliant movie. I think Johnny Depp is great.
This is where you want to talk about his directing.
I think Alan Arkin is great.
Oh, dude. I love when Alan Arkin casually looks over at one of the shrubs Edward's cutting and is just like, well, that's just great, Edward. Like, his bland, like, laid-back suburban dad is fucking slays me in this movie, dude.
Again, I'm not going to say I dislike it. It's not a movie for me. I think it's a brilliantly shot, brilliantly acted movie. Vincent Price is it's so great to give him this kind of send-off.
Role, yeah.
And you can tell
I wish he was in it a little more.
Yeah, I mean, he was probably just sick and old.
Yeah,
and
you might be right.
And,
he was fainting under the hot lights, apparently.
Yeah.
It's in the movie when he's laying there. It's like a faint, I'm pretty sure.
Well, and, you know, I really, you can sense who Tim Burton is as a person with this movie. And, yeah, it's not a movie that I've ever really understood. Again, I won't stop praising it visually. I think it's an incredible, like you said, that timeless look of the movie, that suburban.
Love that, where it's like that. People seem to think that time existed in America. It never really did.
No.
Like that late 50s, early 60s, like that's kind of what it's aping.
Yeah.
And like maybe like, here's another thing too. It's like so funny. If you ever want to see a really good movie, it's Soderbergh's The Limey. You ever see that?
Mm-mm.
Excellent film. Anyway, Peter Fonda has this like kind of small speech where he's talking about like the 60s, you know, the hippies, the summer of love.
Yeah.
And he basically says like, dude, he was like, it was a couple months in 69. Like that was the 60s.
That was this period
he's like, that's it. Yeah. The thing you're all obsessing over was a blip. Like, and it's funny because it's coming from Peter Fonda, Mr. Easy Rider, but yeah, Limey's great if you guys haven't seen that.
Again, to Burton's credit though, I mean, the casting, Anthony Michael Hall.
Which was, I'm glad you brought that up. Like beefy jock.
Beefy, like jock Anthony Michael Hall.
It works.
Yeah.
And he looks a little like, I'm almost like, was he juicing? Yeah. Like, he looks a little
tough.
weird.
And what's her name? I don't know how you say it correctly. Conchata Farrell?
Oh, Conchata Farrell?
Farrell? Yeah, she's fun. It's one of the housewives. And
yeah, all the housewives are funny. I love that shit. Yeah. I love it.
And I think Winona Ryder is great.
She's good. I mean, you got to say one thing. What a beautiful woman. Johnny Depp lost her mind over her.
I would too.
she's something
else.
She's
one of the... I haven't seen in a long time. I used to love Mr. Deeds when I was like younger. And
hated that fucking movie.
Yeah, I'm sure it's garbage, but like for her in it, I remember like she was just so cute and so like I don't know. I've always loved her, and yeah, Johnny Depp lost his mind of her. That's hilarious. He got the tattoo and everything.
Well, I love what he changed it from.
It's like Wine Forever. Or something?
No, it was Winona Forever, and when they broke up, he aptly changed it to Wino Forever. I don't know. Do we like Johnny? Do we feel bad for him? I don't know.
I like Johnny a lot.
I never had a problem with him.
I've never had a problem with him.
He is what he is.
Yeah, and we're going to come to him again later on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that this movie.
I gotta be. I'm sorry if I'm cutting you off.
No,
I want to do that.
You have more to say on this than I do, obviously.
Well, here's the thing. The movie. Here's another one. If you look at it from afar, it either has a reputation or looks like something I hate. Cutesy, kind of twee, like, oh, the weird character, doobie doo doo doo. It's not
really. No.
It's not like that at all.
Yeah.
It wasn't. I really liked his performance as Edward. I liked how it's very Frankenstein, the story. The way they turn on him. I like, like him being on TV, him doing the shrubs, then he's doing the dogs, then he's doing women's hair. Like, it all made sense.
Maybe I just expected to be more optimistic than it was. I'd never seen it all the way through.
Tim Burton said, he's like, to the studio's credit, they let me have my somewhat dark ending.
Yeah.
Where, we don't need to spoil it, but it's not necessarily happy. But you start to get an idea of, like, they can't be together. He's not human. She can love him, and he can love her, but they can never be together. It's very... He's yawning. He's yawning. Oh, it touched my cold, cold heart. That's for sure. But beautiful. Love it. Tim Burton, divisive character on this episode of Almost Cult Classics.
We're getting into it. Ryan, so what is after Edward Scissorhands?
We come to 1992's Batman Returns. And so with everything I just said about Batman, I'm going to say this is one of the very rare instances where the sequel is so much better than the original. I loved this movie. I thought this movie was fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
I thought it was excellent.
This was always my favorite, and I love the dark second parts of movies, like Back to the Future 2. There's a couple other where it's like that second movie, Temple of Doom, second movie that has that darker edge. And this was one of them. I think that it's a lot darker, but it's great.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it speaks to my sadistic side. Is that I'm always more interested in the villains, and I felt like this movie, Batman is barely in it. How I felt, and it focuses much more on the villains. They're always more interesting. They are definitely more interesting in this one.
Yeah.
Max Schreck, the Christopher Walken character.
Yeah, I was going to say he doesn't get enough credit as being one of the other villains in this movie, especially the marketing.
I forgot.
Yeah.
One is he's not a real character in the Batman universe.
Apparently that was supposed to be Billy D. Williams,
which could have been awesome as Two-Face, Harvey Dent. That was another reason I hated Batman.
That went nowhere.
Dude, Billy D comes up to do the Billy D smile, smoke a cigar, say, "Oh, we'll take care of it." That's Harvey Dent in Batman. It fucking sucks. He does nothing in that movie. But it's Billy D.
Well, they were trying to set it up. They were doing the whole.
Regardless, he didn't
pan
make
out.
it.
Nothing they set up kind of panned out.
Oh, but Billy D is Two-Face. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
Regardless, it's Walken, so you get a good character there. Danny DeVito as Penguin. Yeah. Excellent. The beginning's awesome, and our buddy Pee-wee comes back. Paul Rugans
and what's her name? Simone. I forget her name.
Didn't write it down.
Yeah,
thought you might have had that.
it's a Pee-wee's Big Adventure reunion.
Yeah.
Diane Salinger.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're the Cobblepots.
Yeah.
He's Tucker, and I forget her name.
And Paul Rubens played Cobblepot's father on Gotham. He came back and played that iteration's father.
Very cool.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, just the art, the way the penguin looks.
So awesome.
The way, like, his whole lair is set up with the penguins and the rubber duck that floats. Like,
great.
It's a very cool thing. Like, a zoo closed down. That's kind of where he...
That's what I assumed. I was watching. I'm like, wait, what the hell is going on here? Why are the penguins like...
Yeah, I missed that too, but there's definitely a tie between a circus and a zoo, and there's something that's...
And for parts, they're using real penguins.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious. If you look at the process of what it took for them to get them in there...
I love the scene when they carry him off.
So
they
great.
Usher him into the water.
So good. Dude, the movie it's funny. It's a little, like, kind of scary, gross. It's exciting. It's just... Everything that wasn't in that first one for me was in this one. And plus, I know you brought it up while we were talking about the De Palma films with our last Wise Guys episode. Michelle Pfeiffer's a very underrated actress in a lot of ways. And I thought she was, every time Catwoman was on screen, I was like totally into it.
Yeah.
And
apparently they vacuum sealed her into that fucking suit.
It looks like it, dude.
Holy shit.
It looks like it. And
yeah, but
she's just really good. Like, it's an interesting character. She plays it really, really well.
I really dislike, and I know everyone hates Batman and Robin. I dislike Batman Forever a lot too. And it's because like it just like there was so much set up that was going for it in this universe. Like I'll give you Batman's boring. They were doing a lot of setup, but this is like the execution. Like it's pure. We know who he is.
Yep.
And if I wish that they just would. And again, I don't hate Schumacher. I think he's a talented director.
He's made some good stuff.
Yeah, but it's just like to see all of the groundwork that was like it could have gone to a director that still understood the vision that Burton was going for, that just didn't go so cartoony with it.
What was it was Batman and Robin was next, and then Forever.
No, Batman Forever is next, but that's with
Kilmer.
Yes,
Clooney is the
last one.
I couldn't quite remember because I just don't care.
So I'm like, and I don't know how they're going to do it, but the fact that Keaton is returning in some extent, he's in the Flash, the new Flash movie. They're tying.
Oh, okay. I'm totally checked out.
Yeah,
on
I
this
know.
shit.
I am too. But apparently, there's going to be some. They're bringing back this universe that was set up.
Once
somehow,
again, Keaton was actually. You can't get wrong with Michael Keaton.
Oh no, he and I know people hated that at the time. Like people were really upset with that casting. But as a Bruce Wayne, he's perfect. He captures that. Yeah, and this DeVito's great.
Michelle Pfeiffer. That was the best Catwoman I've seen.
Yeah.
Who was you? Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway and Halle Berry.
Oh God!
Yeah,
but that was
one?
her own thing. Ooh, there's a forgotten failure for you.
I'm not going near that one.
By the way, funny enough, Batman Returns did okay at the box office, from what I remember. It was nowhere near the smash hit Batman was.
Yeah, I'm looking at the numbers now. 266 million, and I believe Batman was 400 million.
Yeah,
411. So.
Weird to think that it dropped off. DeVito full bore performance.
Yeah, great.
I can't say enough about that.
Bite that guy's nose off. I love that scene.
It's such a funny scene.
Yeah.
Jan Hooks in that scene too. And I always forget that guy's name.
I do too, but he plays that role.
Great character actor.
That, like,
what does he
goofy,
say to him?
I forget.
To insult him. But yeah, he bites his fucking nose off. And then everyone in the office just goes back to work like nothing happened. Big recommend on Batman Returns.
So that's 92, and then 94 is Ed Wood, which is a movie that I have. I usually watch every year around like October. It's just I don't know how it's not very accurate. There are a lot of creative liberties it takes
for sure.
But it's a wonderful movie about the craft.
I hesitate to say it's one of my favorite movies. It's easily one of my favorite about Hollywood movies. You follow me? Like movies about movies. I told you to watch Robert Altman's The Player. Joe did. He did not like it.
Didn't care for it.
Most people would agree with me that it's one of the best about Hollywood. But regardless, Ed Wood is mwah.
Yeah, it's a great movie about making movies.
It's not only that. I forgot to mention this on Edward Scissorhands, but Edward Scissorhands, Batman Returns, and Ed Wood, the director of photography, cinematographer, whatever you would call him, this guy called Stefan Sapsky. Ed Wood is such a beautifully shot movie. It is gorgeous.
It also like it feels independent. Did you
does.
get that vibe
Yes.
watching it? Like it's the way that it just look. And I know the black and white plays a big part of it, but it just looks like an independent movie. It's weird. But again, casting. I mean,
tip top.
Yep. Our good friend Mike Starr.
Thank you, as George Weiss, that B movie producer. He's fucking
great.
Hysterical.
Yeah.
As like the cigar chomping, like I'm making titty pictures here, Ed. Like
he makes
what
pure
I mean?
garbage.
Yeah,
he doesn't want artistic merit. He has the posters made before the script is written.
Right. And it's what was the movie? I Changed My Sex.
Yeah. Then becomes Glenn or
and
Glenda.
Then, he makes Glenn or Glenda, and just the story is interesting. Depp he does that little change in his voice.
Yeah,
and he's got that weird smile, and like it's just so good. Everyone's good in it. Jeffrey Jones is Criswell. Bill Murray is Bunny Breckenridge. Sarah Jessica Parker is great. Patricia Arquette is good.
Martin Landau, who might be the best living portrayal of someone that actually was alive.
Well, I read this quote, and I forget exactly who said it, because Bela Lugosi is who he plays, won an Academy Award for this role.
Let's shoot this fucker.
Yeah, but so Bela Lugosi was Hungarian, and someone said that I don't know if he learned some Hungarian or what, but someone said basically most people would have played it as someone imitating a Hungarian. Mm-hmm. Martin Landau played Bela Lugosi as a Hungarian trying not to be Hungarian, which is it's like
mind-bogglingly,
dude. It's
hard to do.
It's amazing how good that a performance is.
Yeah.
It's really, really good. The movie's funny. It's sad. It's if you're into making movies, it's like you get that the verve of like we're gonna do it. Like
and
I cannot stress how beautifully shot it is.
Having the like the Orson Welles Citizen Kane overtone, which I don't know how much that motivated the actual Ed Wood, but in the movie, talking about Orson making Citizen Kane before 30 is like a huge motivation of Ed Wood.
It always, anytime I'm feeling low about myself and I want to bemoan my existence, I go, Orson Welles made Citizen Kane at 25, and I put the barrel in my mouth.
Hey,
anyway,
at the very least, you can hope that at age 55 you're advertising frozen peas.
So to wit, Vincent D'Onofrio has a little cameo as Orson Welles. Like Ed Wood kind of runs into him in a bar. I was shocked at how much he looked like Orson Welles. So I hadn't seen this movie in a couple of years.
I guess he didn't sound like him, though?
No. And they dubbed him using Maurice LaMarche's voice, which if you guys, he's a pretty, I don't want to say famous, voice actors, I don't know how famous they get. You've heard his voice before. Everyone's heard Maurice LaMarche.
Well, apparently it wasn't supposed to be dubbed.
No, Tim Burton just didn't like D'Onofrio's voice.
Yeah, and you can watch. D'Onofrio's played Wells in other things, and you can watch those clips. He's not bad at the voice,
dude. He
looks
exactly like
yeah.
him. It's
but you
crazy.
can go on YouTube and watch clips of him. It's not 100%.
What, doing Wells?
Yeah,
really?
Yeah, he's played Wells in other things.
I did not know that.
So he was not that happy that he got dubbed.
Well, it's funny too because like Maurice LaMarche does the classic impersonator thing, where if you've ever tried to impersonate someone's voice, you never go 100% for it. You always do it heightened.
Yeah.
So like Maurice LaMarche's Orson Welles is hilarious and funny.
It's like a
It's not
caricature.
Yeah, exactly. It's weird. It's a weird scene because, like, once again, Vincent D'Onofrio, he looks so much like him. And then, see, I knew this voice, too, so that took me out. But I'm like, well, shit. But
Have you, I don't know if I sent you, but someone recently did an article about the shoot of that champagne commercial and explained what happened.
He did. Someone who was, he was the...
I think the clapboard operator.
Yeah.
And Orson had just done a shoot in Vegas and had been up all night drinking and then took a sleeping pill, and it didn't start to kick in until he arrived at the shoot for the champagne thing. So the producer was talking to him, and he was like, "I fucked up. This is not good." And he said, "All right, let me try."
Poor bastard.
And the champagne commercial, the only way they could do it basically was to show Orson Welles literally could not perform, so insurance could fund them having to reshoot it.
Right.
So they had to get those takes of him on camera being, like belligerent. And then he took a nap, had a cup of coffee, and you can find the commercial completed online. It's masterful.
Well, it's funny when you watch...
Hours later.
When you watch the outtakes, you're like, holy shit, like, what the fuck? But then when you watch... You're right. When you watch the commercial, you're like... It's
amazing.
He's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
He's perfectly fine. Like...
Factors into Ed Wood.
We've come back together on Ed Wood.
Yeah.
We both loved it.
Yeah.
Tremendous.
Great film.
I have to say, I haven't seen all his films. Tim Burton, it's his best.
I would agree with that.
I'm going to go out on a limb.
I would agree with that.
Best movie.
I don't know. Dumbo's pretty good. Yeah. So
we missed a big point here.
What's that?
It's written
Oh yeah,
by
Larry.
Scott Alexander and Larry Karaszewski. Am I saying? Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah,
I'm not the best at.
That's what I figured. So those guys are really cool, and I know they were trying to. This is a story they had wanted to do for a while, and it's kind of that perfect marriage of them and Tim Burton. And then, not only that, when you have the Ed Wood Lugosi thing, Tim Burton had that with Vincent Price.
And
so
can we come back to a prior episode on Cabin Boy? Tim Burton was supposed to direct Cabin Boy, drops out to direct Ed Wood.
which I'm very happy about.
Of course.
Very happy about.
That worked out for everyone except Adam Resnick.
Yeah,
unfortunately. And Chris Elliott.
Yeah. You're right. Good callback there.
That's with Mars Attacks lines up 2 years later, and, he had just done this amazing love letter to sci-fi and B movies. So Mars Attacks comes along, and I until I researched this maybe a couple months ago, I didn't know it was based on the cards.
Mars Attacks is based on a series of Topps trading cards. Series was started in 1962. Did you look any of the cards up?
I did.
Brutal, right?
Yeah, they're incredible.
Really,
I loved it.
Yeah, they're really cool.
I guess
really,
there was
really graphic.
Another series called Dinosaurs Attacks,
which they were waffling. Which one should we do in Jurassic Park? It just come out, so they were like,
them into this,
which was smart for them not to do that. That would have been dumb.
Yeah, I mean, the best thing about this movie is the design of the aliens, I thought.
Yes. It's funny, though, because the UFOs look like what they were doing in Ed Wood.
Right.
Like just a plain saucer.
That's what I mean. Like, it's to me, it was baffling that he did Ed Wood and then followed up at Mars Attacks because it misses the mark on what it's trying to be. And who's to say they were going for, but there is a lot going on. It doesn't always land, but the parts that really deal with the alien, like that opening with the cows running on fire, like I was kind of
cool. Dude.
Yeah, I was
that
into
really
it. I was like, oh,
hooks
this is going to be fun.
This
and
is
then
going to be awesome.
It doesn't really get to that level again.
So to kind of get into it, do you know who Alex Cox is? The director. Alex Cox made probably three of. Once again, when I say my favorite movies, there's no top list. It's just movies you really like.
Right.
Alex Cox has probably made three of my favorite fucking movies, and I think he did it in a row. He did Repo Man, Emilio Estevez. He did Sid and Nancy with Gary Oldman.
Gotta see that.
I love Sid
Can't
and
find
Nancy.
it right now, but
And then he did Walker, which is basically a totally forgotten movie with Ed Harris.
Okay.
I love these three movies. Alex Cox also tried to do Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas at one point. Funny enough, Johnny Depp eventually gets it with Terry Gilliam.
Yeah.
Hunter Thompson hated Alex Cox and what he wanted to do with movies so much that he was out. Terry Gilliam came in. And he also tried to do Mars Attacks in the 80s. Because, this trading card thing it had its popularity.
Well, that's what I wanted to hit on with you, too. Like, I came in at the tail end where Pokemon was huge. And I remember it was so big that stores had to have a sign in the window saying we're out. And I haven't seen anything like that since. So I'm glad I got on the tail end of that with cards. Like, I'm sure there's been other things.
Yeah, it was in that sense of cards. There hasn't been much. We've moved to a shitty digital world.
But what I didn't really know is that the Mars Attacks cards had their own story and characters. And
Well, the funny thing is, if you had more there.
well, why the fuck didn't they go that route?
Funny enough, the writer, Jonathan Gems, apparently he
didn't know, right?
He saw the cards, and then he was just like, he wrote a whole thing, and he was just like, wait, there's a story on the back of the cards? He didn't know.
And the story in the cards sounds so much more interesting than what...
Well, their planet's dying.
Right, and they don't tell anyone, right?
It's certainly not in this film.
Yeah.
That's another thing. It's like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
Why are they attacking her?
No one has a purpose.
In the story, they're... But in the card story,
yeah,
we're talking
Mars
about
Mars is dying.
They want Earth.
Yeah.
They need a planet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have a motivation.
They have a motivation.
Here it's just like they show up, a dove flies, they turn evil, and that's...
And they really... My big problem is, we'll go through this a little bit more bit by bit. They turned into like goofballs almost.
See, that's the part that worked for me. It was just the fact that...
That's where it lost me. I'm like...
It was coupled with
now
the humans acting like goofballs.
You're bowling over Easter Island heads? Like,
yeah, all right. I'll give you some of the...
Once again, here's where Tim Burton starts to lose the thread. In the sense that, like, just because it's an interesting visual idea, maybe you shouldn't do it. And I have to think this script getting cut really affected it, because one thing I want to say is, I'd say the first half, but more the first third of the movie, I'm like you said, with the cows, and they're setting up each storyline, and I'm watching this. I haven't seen this movie in years. I watched it 2-3 nights ago. I'm like, oh, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm like, ooh.
It starts off with a lot of really cool things.
This movie's got a great start going.
Especially the...
Nicholson playing two roles.
That, to me, I did not know.
Loved it.
I'm shocked that just in the marketing you don't really say it. It's him. You just know he's the president. And even like the first couple of seconds in that scene when his other characters are introduced, and it's Art Land.
It's Art something.
Yeah.
And President whatever.
A Texan wearing a... Later we find out it's a wig. But like, yeah, a nose. He's like got... And at first you don't... Because I didn't know
and
it was...
he keeps going, whoa.
Yeah. And it's not something that for me is like, all right, Doctor Strange level a little bit. There's that element. But
he should have played a third character.
Yeah. Well, the whole war room is, you can tell, is inspired by Doctor Strangelove.
Well, anything post Strangelove with a war room is inspired by Doctor Strangelove.
But this one where it's like giant map, they're all sitting around.
Yeah. But
yeah, I know.
It's that was it.
Unlike a lot of movies we talk about though on the podcast, this movie opens at number 1.
Did it?
Yeah, I'm going to give you the numbers real quick. But again, Hollywood accounting, not considered a huge hit because it just doesn't hit those numbers they really wanted.
No, it didn't.
I'm sorry. It opens at number 2, which still, by this podcast standards, is pretty high.
Yeah, what was 1? Do you have?
Jerry Maguire.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it opens against Jerry Maguire and the preacher's wife.
Isn't that funny? This was a time when adults, they still made movies. To be full disclosure, I've never seen Jerry Maguire.
I haven't either.
It's not a movie for children.
No, of course not.
It's a movie for adults.
Yeah.
This is when adults could still go to the movies and see a
and
movie.
fucking 17 million opening weekend, while Mars Attacks is 9. So
Tom Cruise could still really open a movie then.
Yeah, and I think it was like...
Plus, Jerry Maguire is considered a good movie.
I believe so.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Jerry Maguire's 1, Mars Attacks is 2, 101 Dalmatians, the live-action remake, is 3, and The Preacher's Wife is 4. It opens December 13th, 1996, holidays. Might have heard it. I mean, I feel like it's more of a summer movie than a holiday movie.
Probably shouldn't have came out
I
around
know
Christmas.
that that's what they said they were going for with the red and green
with the
human
skeletons when they're vaporizing them.
And I, as we usually do, I did pull Ebert's review.
And so real quick aside here while you're, fill the gap here. It had that, and I forgot Independence Day and this came out so close together. I was so hyped for Independence Day.
Yeah.
When that came out, when they showed that shot in the trailer of like the lasers coming down, like blowing up like
classic.
the Empire State Building and the White House, I was like, holy fuck. So I remember I was down the Jersey Shore with my parents at the time. And if you know anything about the Jersey Shore, dog shit movie theaters. I don't know if that's changed.
I thought you were going to say dog shit everything.
Well, dog shit movie theaters. I had to see this movie. And if you remember, it opened on July 4th, Independence Day. I begged and begged and begged. I begged so much. Dude, a hurricane came through, and they still took me.
Wow.
They took me to this shitty
There's
theater.
something like really nostalgic about going to the movies on vacation, though.
I rarely did.
Oh,
really? We're on vacation.
Yeah, I know, but I was always...
Why would you be inside? Because
I didn't get much sun and I enjoyed movies.
Yeah, well, we can get that. That's a whole nother thing. But so I remember being in this shitty theater, which I'm almost certain was leaking, because you could hear the wind whipping around outside,
hilarious.
and I didn't care, man. Independence Day, I was so hyped for it. If you want to hear something brilliantly funny, it's my one celebrity who I almost deify. I can say celebrity, more of a comedian. Patrice O'Neill and Jim Norton on the Opie and Anthony show talking about Independence Day. It's one of the funniest, best analysis of a movie I've ever heard. But they basically come to the conclusion of that the first half of Independence Day is amazing, and the second half not so much. And that's probably accurate. But man, as a kid in 1996,
yeah, it was huge. That was like, I remember me with Wild Wild West. It was the same thing. It was like, because that movie was so marketed.
Oh, heavily.
Burger King and
Should we do that on this show?
I think we are going to come back to it.
Listeners, let us know if you want to hear. I'll talk about Wild Wild West because I like Sonnenfeld.
Yeah, and I haven't seen it in 15 years.
And I remember liking it.
I do too.
Everyone hates it. I remember liking it.
Fucking Brana.
Kevin Kline, come on.
Yeah. Here's
and Salma Hayek.
Salma Hayek, that's right. Here's Ebert's review. Part of it. Watching Nicholson deliver his televised fireside chat with the nation about the impending saucer attack, I wondered, why is this supposed to be funny? Burton has made a common mistake. He assumes it is funny simply to be doing a parody, when in fact the material has to be funny in its own right. It isn't funny that Jack Nicholson is the president. It's only funny if the writing makes the role comic. Ed Wood himself could have told us what's wrong with this movie. The makers felt superior to the material. To be funny, even schlock has to believe in itself. Go to a video store and look for The Inframan or Invasion of the Bee-Girls, and you will find movies that lack stars and big budgets and fancy special effects, but are funny and fun in a way that Burton's mega production never really understands.
I agree.
Yeah.
Was I supposed to find that chat funny? I remember just watching that.
Is that like, I guess the visual was just supposed to be funny.
Nicholson is the president?
Yeah.
Why not? Have you seen our current and last president? It's funny. It's a joke. Like, so
yeah,
who gives a shit? Like, but he wasn't, like, I agree with that in the sense that, like, I remember, like I said, just like you, I watched this movie 2-3 days ago.
Yeah.
That was a part in the movie where I was just watching.
Right.
I wasn't expecting a laugh. Like, to me, Nicholson's got gravitas, so I'm like, I don't know. Like, sure, he could be the why couldn't Nicholson be the president?
Nicholson is one of the few parts of this movie I really enjoy.
Once again, he knows how to have fun with a role.
Well, again, because it's like, so the movie basically has a bunch of different threads that are happening at the same time. It's what's happening in Washington, Vegas, Kansas, and I think New York. There's some New York stuff.
There might be.
All right, maybe I could be wrong.
No, there might be because well, where are Michael J. Fox and Sarah Jessica?
They're from New York.
Yeah.
But then they kind of get involved in the other shit.
Right.
But, I mean, the cast. I mean, you have... Let's run through the names real quick. Jack Nicholson, Glenn Close, Annette Bening, Pierce Brosnan, Danny DeVito, Martin Short, Sarah Jessica Parker, Michael J. Fox, Rod Steiger.
Unrecognizable, skinny Jack Black.
Not unrecognizable. I mean, it's very...
Well, no, he's like, at first you're like, oh, I know that guy. And you're like, wait a second, that's Jack Black.
Yeah.
Like, another one, I don't know if you picked up on. This man, I don't want to call it a movie. We'll call it something. He starred in something that is so much more popular than Mars Attacks, it's not even funny. Ray J is in this movie as one of Pam Grier's kids. Ray J starred in the Kim Kardashian sex tape.
Oh, no way,
That
really?
Ray J. Yeah, he's one of the kids.
Oh, my God.
But then you have, like I said, like, it's... dude, I'm watching, I'm like, that looks like... I'm like, is that fucking Ray J? Like, Ray J! But he's Pam Grier's kid, and she's estranged from who I read his autobiography, Out of Bounds, Big Jim Brown. Love Jim Brown. If you guys ever want to see a ridiculously funny, out of control B-movie blaxploitation film, it stars Jim Brown. It's called Crack House. Dude, it is... Some of you probably know what I'm talking about already. It's so funny. It's so good. It's so ridiculous. But Jim Brown, yeah, I've always been a Jim Brown fan.
And so that's the weird thing with this movie is that
huge, great cast.
Great cast.
And to be fair, they're all good.
They're all good. They're underutilized. And, you know, like, so let's break down the different threads that are going on. So Jack Nicholson's the president. Glenn Close is the first lady. Natalie Portman is the daughter who doesn't do anything until the end of the movie.
Basically nothing.
And then you have Michael J. Fox.
Except Brood. It was almost like he was trying to make her Winona Ryder and Edward Scissorhands.
I thought she was going to do something, though. She doesn't do anything.
Okay.
And then she becomes the fucking...
de facto president almost, handing out medals of honor or whatever, presidential medal of freedom. Here's what I said earlier. The movie sets everything up beautifully, and that it goes basically around when they start to Mars Attacks proper.
Yeah.
Which
happens about 20 minutes in.
No. There's that scene where they have the dove thing. And then this is the big problem I have with the movie. It sets up all these great threads, right? Then they're going to have the big meeting. He sends, instead of sending Rod Steiger, he sends the other general, Paul Winfield.
Yeah.
That's the actor. It's like it's General Casey or something.
General Casey, yeah.
So they go to the desert in Pahrump, in Nevada, and they're going to have the meeting with the ambassador, and someone hippie releases the dove. As usual, hippies ruin everything. Yeah. But the Martians ostensibly seem to freak out at the dove and shoot it, and then think they're being attacked.
Turn on everyone.
Yeah. So the Pierce Brosnan character basically says as much. He's like, maybe it's just a cultural thing. They didn't quite get it. Whereas, like, this is my problem with the movie is that, like, the Rod Steiger character who's like, we must kill them all. Like, he's that general. Like, we got to nuke them now.
Yeah, he's like the George C. Scott of
He's clearly right.
Yeah.
They attacked.
Multiple times. They keep attacking, too.
They keep attacking.
Yeah.
And, like, that's the big problem I had is that, like, everyone keeps, like, going, like, well, wait. Like, I'm like, no. None of this makes any sense.
They invade the White House.
But you're so right in the sense that, like, you didn't need to bring, like, we didn't need to see what was going on in China or Russia or Europe. Right. But it would have been good if the world mobilized. Almost like an Independence Day.
I mean,
and, like, maybe they backed off of that because of Independence Day.
I don't know if the release of Independence Day really affected the shooting or development of this movie.
The way they didn't react, it throws you off big time. And you're in the middle. It's the middle of the movie.
There's that
and you're
scene.
Like, what's going on here? No, but like business is going on as usual.
Yeah, that too.
And you're like,
no, like
Martians just attacked the planet.
The huge thing that took me out of the movie was the fact that you have that woman disguise who invades the White House, and then 2 scenes later, there's a tour group with the kid.
Yeah, you think you would just lock it down?
All right. And not only that, but at one point,
that's a great scene too. By the way,
it's one of the best scenes in the movie.
She's on the cover.
Yeah,
and for you guys who don't know, that's that very tall with the giant beehive-esque hairdo. That's played by Lisa Marie. She played Vampira in Ed Wood, and she was kind of. Here's the weird thing about Tim Burton, kind of a pussy hound.
I guess, yeah.
that she was his muse for many years, and then he moved on to Helena Bonham Carter,
and then they bought 2 houses next to each other.
which hey, I don't care what you do.
Yeah,
Good
no,
for him.
Tim Burton seems to
Got good taste. I'll give
yeah.
him that. And then I don't know. I've heard this. I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know if he's kind of with Eva Green now.
Makes sense.
Which,
He's putting her in everything.
How jealous can I be of Tim Burton? Well, but she's dude.
The
her,
way the character moves, like
so cool.
sways through the frame,
and just kind of collides.
Yeah.
And not only that, when no one's looking, she does this like menace, like this very predatory like lurk.
and creepy, like Martin Short, like
Very good.
as the secretary.
Yeah, who's just out. No, I like how they set that up early in the movie, where he's just picking up
He
hookers.
picks up hookers and brings them to the White House.
Yeah, to the Kennedy room, of course.
But so yeah, that's one facet. Is you have this the White House and Jack Nicholson and his generals and Pierce Brosnan, who's a scientist dealing with the Martians, and then you have in New York we have Michael J. Fox in his last, I believe, theatrical film role. I read that.
I'm shrugging. You may be right.
Yeah, I believe it is. He's dating Sarah Jessica Parker. He's a newscaster on a CNN-esque show, and she's kind of like a goofy weekday talk show host.
Like a fashion show, I think.
Yeah, and she has a little chihuahua with her, and so then you have what they go through, and then you have in Kansas, you have what Ryan was talking about, Jack Black and his family. There's Lukas Haas, is that how you say his name? He plays Richie. He's kind of like who you would expect to be the protagonist in a movie like this.
Certainly seems like he was made to be it.
Yeah,
But it's almost like they couldn't be like, it's like, should it be Jim Brown? Because it's actually a good ending in a way. I actually like the last shot of the movie.
yeah.
It's a good last shot.
Yeah,
We'll get to that in a second.
but like,
No, they totally set him up to be it. But here we come back to, we have the great Sylvia Sidney, who played Juno in Beetlejuice.
Right.
She's the grandmother, who basically, I think Lukas Haas's name is Richie.
yeah,
She likes him, hates the rest of the family.
yeah.
And
Who's the
she's
dad? I forget.
God damn it. I don't remember, but I know the mother's...
Joe Don Baker.
Is that who it is?
I believe so.
He's so awesome. Another great character actor.
Yeah, he's like a
And Olan Jones is the mother. She plays the weird religious person in Edward Scissorhands.
yeah, and then Jack Black's the kind of militant brother who's kind of done.
He's going into the military.
And I will say this: I do love that they give the brother this whole arc, and then he just dies instantly for nothing. It's
good stuff.
Like it's really funny. Like
that kind of shit is great.
yeah, that's the stuff that really works here.
Agreed.
And like when Glenn Close gets crushed by the chandelier.
That kind of surprised me.
Yeah, like moments like that where you're like,
Nancy
oh shit.
the Nancy Reagan chandelier.
And like it's again real. They have a dummy there. She gets crushed. It's just
it's
it
very
looks,
visceral. It's just no one gets enough.
Yeah.
They set up all these great characters and then no one
and
gets
then
enough.
for me, the strangest element that just felt so out of place is the Vegas stuff with Ray J and
No. Ray J's in Washington with
right,
Pam
but that's
Grier.
he's the father.
Jim Brown, yeah.
And he's by the way, airplanes are still flying during the Martian attack.
That's like, see, this is
one of those pre 9/11 things.
Here's the beautiful innocence of, if any of you guys are what they call, how do they call them, Zoomers now, I think. If you were born post 9/11, or if you grew up in the age of the internet, I really feel for you. You missed out on the last vestige of humanity, because we used to have a dumb, naive innocence about us.
Yeah.
Like Mars probably could have tacked, and we were like, well, you can probably
whenever
still,
you see a movie,
you can
you're
still
like,
take the red eye to Vegas.
The man is running after the woman in the airport terminal.
Yeah,
going
right.
up to the gate,
Not
like
getting
through
tackled,
security.
right.
Yeah. And this is one of those movies where it's constant. It's a constant reminder of the era pre the millennium. And yeah, so Jim Brown is working in a casino as like
he's an ex-heavyweight, and he's just kind of like an
Egyptian
get your picture
pharaoh.
taken with him.
And Danny DeVito plays a casino patron who gets like one line early in the movie that's funny. When the president's announcing that Mars is invading, he's like still playing craps, and it's like, what? What's everyone? What are you doing? What's the problem?
It would have been great if that was it.
If that was it, he's fourth billed in the movie. It's incredible.
Crazy. And then like later in the movie, he's like, I'm a lawyer, blah blah blah. Like they start trying to give him lines and like exposition. It's like, what are you doing,
dude? And then, so the Martians, I will say this. When they're on the spaceship, it looks really cool. When they're on Earth, it doesn't really look well.
A little wonky. I love their design.
The design is
great. I love how they move.
They move.
I love the
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
Their eyes, they kind of float. It's not early CGI, but it's not perfect.
Yeah.
Their eyes kind of don't. They just kind of are. It's weird. But here's the thing. It does kind of work for what it is.
Yeah.
They're Martians. You can accept it. You can suspend your disbelief enough to just take it. You're right, though. When they're on the ship.
The ship stuff is cool, excluding the fact that her head with the dog.
Well, there's that, too. It's like, this is where I had a problem with the Martians, is what the fuck are they doing? So they when they have that first thing in Parum, when they first attack, they kidnap Sarah Jessica Parker and Pierce Brosnan.
And Sarah Jessica Parker's Chihuahua.
And start experimenting on them.
Yeah.
From what I gathered in the film, they're just doing it to fuck around. There's no rhyme or reason to their... Like, they should have given the Martians a reason.
Something.
Instead of
something
just being
on our
like,
planet,
we feel like being dickheads. That's literally, from what I gathered, that's the entire reason they invade Earth.
Yeah.
With their underground UFO arsenal.
By the way, I just, prior to watching this, I finished The Martian Chronicles.
The book?
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
How good is it but they connect?
And that's what
the way it
this
connects.
movie, I wish it would have been.
Wow, The Martian Chronicles. It's so funny you said that. I was just saying... I'm getting ready to reread that.
Yeah, and it does the different storylines that connect so well. It does multiple characters so well. And, it's just... And Larry and Scott did a rewrite on this. I don't know if you read that.
Uncredited.
They did an uncredited rewrite.
Because Jonathan Gems is the only one that gets the credit.
For me, when
By the way, here, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because it's just so funny, man. I feel like I've spent years... I almost want to, atone. I spent years making fun of Tim Burton, I feel like, and not watching his movies because I don't care and they look like shit. That, watching these 7 movies, I'm like, fuck, I like Tim Burton. He did a rewrite on this and wouldn't take the credit. That's what Jonathan Gems said, the writer.
Yeah.
And it's like, that kind of shit is
the novelization is...
But I'm like...
Thanked. He's yeah.
Good for you, dude. Yeah. How much credit do you need, really? I don't know. To me, that's a gracious guy, and... these 7 movies, man. He knows he knew what he was doing. He really did.
And I think that, and I think in Sidetracks we'll talk maybe a little bit more about the Tim Burton kind of losing his standing.
We can get into it. I haven't seen a ton of them, so I can't speak too much, but I've seen a few.
But yeah, this movie, it felt like there were 6 decent movies here that just they didn't know what to give the most time to.
For sure.
And the stuff with the Kansas with Lukas Haas and the grandma, that's the stuff I really liked. The Jack Black stuff, concentrating on this small, Kansas town dealing with the invasion of Martians.
Who wouldn't really know what's going on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It would have been so much more compelling to me. And even, the president stuff could have worked, but there's just so much going on, and it doesn't really get followed through.
And like you said, tonally, they make the humans very goofy and venal and greedy and selfish and dumb.
Yeah.
That where you don't care about any of them. The moral center of the movie is Jim Brown, who a lot of people in real life accuse of being a woman beater. So it's
and then
it's tough to
in maybe the last 20 minutes, Tom Jones becomes a character playing Tom Jones.
Which, okay, so here...
I thought for sure that was going to be a one-off, it's like...
And he gets sapped.
One of those concert scenes in the movie where the guy cameos. No, he actually becomes a protagonist.
He flies...
in the movie.
Annette Bening's good in this.
Yeah, she's good.
And a beautiful woman, by the way.
Yeah.
Warren Beatty married her.
That's
Finally
right.
settled down
Apparently
with her.
she kept Warren in line.
Good for her. But...
These movies we talk about really do tie together.
The more we do it, the more they do.
My God.
Yeah. But it's funny. She's good. I found her funny. And
when she's on the car hood when the Martians are landing, and she's very being peaceful and a hippie about it.
I guess it's not an Annette Bening I've seen.
No.
So I don't know. She doesn't act that much anymore. But
no, she's great.
Who the fuck knows what anything is?
Does
anymore?
the movie end with the Tom Jones singing with the animals?
No,
or
but
is that
honestly is a very funny scene when the Martians have been defeated and they emerge from the cave and the animals are coming out to be with them and stuff.
Because at that point you committed to it. Tom Jones is a character. Danny DeVito gets killed instantly. He gets sapped.
I don't know if you remember, they were listening to Tom Jones and Edward Scissorhands at some point.
Oh, really?
And Tim Burton had a comment where he's like, when I was growing up, and he grew up in Burbank, and that's what Edward Scissorhands was based off of.
Yeah.
And if anyone did have that weird post-war New America,
Yeah.
prosperity. It was probably
fits the mold.
California.
Yeah.
And Burbank,
Right.
that area. And he made a comment that went along the lines of like, he was like, it seemed like no one really listened or appreciated music, listened to or appreciated. He's like, but they all seem to kind of listen to Tom Jones. And he's like, well, I guess if everyone's listening to one thing, I guess it should be at least kind of good. Like, so I think he had it. And Tom Jones is good.
Yeah.
You know, but he has that, I think this is where me and Tim Burton, I like him. Tim Burton has that appreciation for like kitsch. Like almost John Waters has that too.
Yeah.
Where it's like, kitsch can be very grotesque in a weird way. But like Tom Jones has that kitschiness.
He walks that line. I mean, by the way, defeating the Martians, they play Slim Whitman.
So here's a funny thing. Indian Love Call.
That's the song.
That's
yeah,
the song.
that yodeling.
And by the way, I had to say this because it gets played because the grandmother Sylvia Sidney is she listens to the Slim Whitman songs all the time on her headphones. And at the end, this is another reason. The Martians are wheeling. For some reason, they've decided to attack a nursing home in Kansas. Why? You're attacking Easter Island. You're attacking Paris.
Taj Mahal.
You're blowing up the Taj Mahal. By the way, one good scene is where the president of France calls Nicholson's president. And he's like, oh, Mr. President, we are meeting. It's a beautiful thing. We are meeting with the Martians. He's like, no.
Yeah.
And like, you know, you hear them getting liquidated on the phone. But anyway, so the grandmother's always listening to Slim Whitman. But the Martians decide we're going to wheel in this fucking 1950s B-movie laser beam thing through the nursing home to point it at her head. Visually, it's very interesting.
Even though they have this gun that vaporizes humans.
Narratively, it's just idiotic. It makes no sense. So anyway, she's listening to Slim Whitman's Indian Love Call. The jack gets pulled out. The song starts playing. They can't take it. You know, it's like Signs, the Mel Gibson film, where water kills the aliens. This, it's Slim Whitman. So you want to know what's something funny? I don't know if you came across this.
What's that?
Howard Stern.
What about?
Baba Booey. Anyway, Howard Stern.
He invented this movie?
So, Robin, I invented Mars Attacks. It's like, oh my God, what was that? That was the worst.
Robin Williams.
Oh, yeah, it was. I was trying to do.
Oh, yes, Robin.
I
little
was
Martian
trying
man.
to do Anthony Cumia doing Howard Stern.
Yeah,
but
it was a deep pull.
I just did Robin Williams. But I have to give him somewhat. He interviewed Tim Burton and brought this up to him. And Tim Burton was like,
Oh, that's right. He did kind of.
dude, he literally did. And he even admits, I listened to it today before I came over. He's like, it's not funny. But they did a bit literally called Slim Whitman versus the midget aliens from Mars.
Wow.
And what defeats them is the yodeling of Slim Whitman. And Tim Burton's like, that sounds like a coincidence. And Howard's explaining it more. And he's just like, you should have sued me. So it's like, and they were even saying, it's like, do you think maybe like everyone listened to Howard back in the day? So it's like, do you think maybe,
Subconsciously, it could have.
or maybe it just been like, hey, it's kind of a good idea. Because
Even
it is a good idea. It's like their brains can't take the.
Yeah, but even that, but they it's not really like explained that well, other than just kind of like I would have liked.
I expected that frequency.
Yeah,
threw
all
them
right.
off.
Yeah, I guess.
And then all of a sudden, too, the fucking kid and his grandmother have a speaker they've thrown in like this. Is
Yeah,
the kind
there's
of
a lot. There's a
this
lot
is the
to it.
kind of shit I can accept, but this is the problem where a movie you're now rushing everything. So I'm like, what the fuck? Like you get almost a little annoyed.
And then, so they save everyone and are awarded the Medal of Honor by Taffy,
President Taffy,
who's the daughter. Just Nicholson gets killed. Both Nicholsons get killed.
To be fair, I think they both do. I assume most of the world leaders have been killed at this point. So the president's daughter,
Congress is gone.
Oh, and that's what I wanted to bring up. When they that's the other thing. So they basically decide to give the Martians another chance. Like they get the translator going. And they tell the Martians, like, hey, I think we maybe had a cultural difference here. You got spooked by the dove, whatever. And the Martians basically respond like,
yeah.
And they know they're fucking with them.
Yeah.
They go, yeah, it was. Let us address Congress. And they come address Congress and basically immediately vaporize them. And the grandmother, Sylvia Sidney, has the line of the movie. She's watching it on TV and she goes, they blew up Congress. Dude, I was pissing my pants because everyone's had that sentiment where it's just like,
Yeah. Yeah, overall, not a terrible movie. It's very misguided.
I remember it ended. I thought to myself, I was like, I liked it.
Yeah.
I said it like that.
Yeah. It's the moments that are fun kind of redeem it, but they're few and far in between. And I would have loved more of that, either complete silliness or just like more grounded humans. I don't know. It would have felt a lot more what they were going for, of that B-movie vibe, if the humans just played it straight.
I agree with you. That would have saved the movie.
Yeah.
And
I'm glad you suggested it, though, because it got us really talk about Tim Burton a lot. And
it gave me a greater appreciation for him, because I've dogged him for years.
Yeah.
Dogged him. I mean, like, I almost feel bad. Like, where I'm like, I watched these 6 movies leading up to it. I'm like, this guy, man, had it.
Yeah.
I cannot say how good Ed Wood is.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Especially if you like movies about movies.
Yeah.
Top 10. Easy.
Oh,
easy,
of course.
Easy.
American movie and that are what I consider to be really good.
I haven't seen that in forever. That was a good flick.
It's a good movie.
Very good. That's the best thing. Not to cut you off again, or
that's the phrase of this podcast.
Yeah. Well, I know you're wrapping it up, but that's what is so good about Ed Wood, is that it doesn't. Hey, laugh at these guys.
Yeah.
Whereas American Movie did that pretty good too, where it's like, look, this is who they are.
Yeah, we just pointed a camera and filmed it.
We're not trying to make fun of them.
Yeah.
And they also did a good job of not making fun of them. But Ed Wood, it's clear they're making shit, but it doesn't make fun of them for it. And I don't know. It walks that line very well.
Yeah. So that was it on Mars Attacks. We're going to keep the mics rolling, though, and keep talking about Tim Burton a little bit. I watched Dark Shadows, which I want to talk about. But yeah, Ryan suggested Mars Attacks. Next on the podcast, I suggested Memoirs of an Invisible Man. It's a 1992 John Carpenter film starring a podcast previous discussion star Chevy Chase.
Keeps coming up.
I have only a few gaps in my Carpenter history, but
I have enough that I'm very excited.
Oh, great!
I'm very, because I looked at what's coming before that.
Yeah,
and like I'm going to start with Dark Star.
Yeah,
like I'm very excited to watch.
I think you'll dig Assault on Precinct 13.
Oh yeah, I know I will.
I haven't seen Elvis. I have it on Blu-ray.
You haven't seen what?
Elvis.
Well, I don't even know what that is.
Carpenter did an Elvis movie with Kurt Russell. It's a biopic.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah.
Is it a theatrical movie?
It was a TV movie at the time.
Okay, I'm probably...
you don't have to. You can skip that.
No, maybe I'll watch it, but maybe we should talk about that on our next sidetrack.
1979.
Shit, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
By the way, I feel like there was something I wanted to bring up. Maybe we'll talk about it after this show on Sidetracks, but there was something I wanted to talk to you about Kurt Russell. I love him more for some reason. It'll come to me.
Oh, that's great. Kurt Russell's great.
He's so awesome.
Escape from New York. That'll be fun.
Pliskin.
There's so much to talk about there. I'm really excited. I've never seen Memoirs of an Invisible Man. I'm told it's a very interesting film visually. I know Chevy Chase was a nightmare on behind the scenes, but...
Ooh, fun.
Yeah, that's always fun to talk about. But we're going to keep this conversation rolling. So for $5, you can hear the juicy... gossip we're going to spill on Sidetracks.
It's Playboy After Dark. It's almost cult classics after dark.
It's the Cinemax.
We get a little sexy. Joe, what's your Twitter handle?
I'm at Joe Ramone.
And I am at Ryan Lancello. And you can find us both at Almost C Classics on Twitter.
Patreon at patreon.com/almost cult classics.
As always, thank you very much for listening.
And we'll see you next time.